score the ball. So, we on the Cavs side of things miss seeing LeBron on the floor because he's a once-in-a-generational talent, and we know what he meant to the city of Cleveland, and, at least I'll get to say hi to him anyway.
And Fred, with that being said, how hard has it been for the young guys to hear of all the great things you witnessed the last 4 with LeBron and now saying he's not there? How hard has it been for those guys to go through this?
Not at all. I think, first of all, Dennis, I think we're in a much better place than we were in 2010 without question. A younger core, assets in place, so they know it's a learning curve. Listen, they've all grown up, watching LeBron dominate the league as much as he has, and so now they have to carve their own path, and the organization's really excited. Got an owner that knows to preach patience right now, to let this thing unfold and build it bit by bit. And as you know, look at the Denver Nuggets. They went through a 5-year drought, and now they're going to be back into the playoffs. And the Lakers themselves, every team goes through it. So the Cavs, it's our turn, so to speak, to build a new chapter and build a new future. And with guys like Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. and Jetty Osman, there's some formative pieces here. Now you just have to be you can't make mistakes on draft night, and Kobe Altman and his front office certainly know that and are fully getting ready for this upcoming draft.
Guys, I've been fortunate enough to do a couple of the Cavs second halves with Fred and Austin Carr. And Fred, it seems like this young group can find enough energy for about 24 minutes, but then come that third quarter, there's a major plunge as far as them not being able to sustain it and continue the energy they gave for the first 24 minutes. It's getting to be a frustrating situation for the team, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, Mike, not only is it youthful learning, but it's attrition. You showed that graphic. Losing 3 bigs off the top right now and your best perimeter defender. So go right down the list. Let's say Indiana, you take out Sabonis, and I'm not making excuses, but it's reality. Take out Sabonis, take out Turner, take out Thad Young, take out their best perimeter defender. Go to Boston, take out Baines, take out Horford, Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart, and things are a little bit different. You still have great players out there with Kyrie Irving and Victor Oladipo, but it's just attrition, Mike, and it's been so difficult. And recently we've missed Rodney Hood for 7 games and Tristan Thompson prior to that for 10. So Larry Drew has said he's never in his 38 years of playing or coaching in the NBA ever seen such a destruction of a roster with key injuries. And so you just got to bide your time until they get back on the floor.
Well, the season didn't start out the way the Cavs had hoped they did. So as a result, we've seen certain players moved on now. Korver's gone, George Hill's gone, JR is not with the team. But some guys have stepped up. Clarkson has increased his value, in my opinion.
Yes.
Then a guy like Thompson comes back, and if Thompson is a piece you need for your team, or Kevin Love, who has a very nice contract, 3 years left after this year on his contract, and even a guy like Hood, there's trade value there. Would you expect the Cavs to make another move before trade deadline?
In terms of actually helping this season, you think? Is that what you're asking?
Or getting who knows, you get another first-round pick down the road. Isn't that part of what it's all about?
Yeah, exactly. I think they'll survey any possible scenario to see, what's going to help not only short-term but long-term. Losing Kevin was such a difficult loss, not only a 5-time All-Star, but part of the maturation of having Colin Sexton grow is to having guys like Kevin in the very first bucket of the season. He caught a pass and set up another player for a dunk. And, Colin doesn't have that option right now, a go-to guy in the block, as you're seeing, or a guy that can flash to the corner. And so Colin's had to carry a lot of that scoring load on his own, but he's a really willing worker, a sponge. He attacks the rack, as we know, with great speed. But he's seeing things more now, and he says he's really tough on himself, but he expects to be able to continue to mature. He's leaning on Matthew Dellavedova, leaning on Larry Drew, played the point guard position for 10 years. So I love the dog in him, so to speak, and 3D, you can speak to that. That's a compliment to a guy who's got a great motor and wants to improve. He wants to be great, and so time will tell.
Cavs-Lakers play tonight at 9:30. Fred McLeod, play-by-play voice for the Cavaliers. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, Chris. Thanks, fellas.
All right, Freddie.
Thank you, Fred.
Let's continue that conversation in particular about a guy like Kevin Love. He's been hurt for a big part of the season, so we're not hearing his name But when you look at where Cleveland is, worst record in the NBA, you look at a guy, Kevin Love, who can clearly contribute on a team that's trying to contend. Do you imagine that he'll still be on this roster past the trade deadline as teams are looking to improve to make a playoff push?
Things happen that you can't predict. Okay, so at the time that Cleveland signed Kevin to a 4-year contract this past summer, everyone was like, wow, they made the commitment to Kevin Love. And they wanted Kevin there, and they wanted to be in the playoffs this year. But then after 4 games, Kevin is out, and then the series of injuries that we've just talked about pile up. They finally make that decision, you know what, this isn't going the way we thought it was going to go. We can get some value, so Korver's moved on. George Hill has moved on. The reasons for JR not being with the team right now, other teams are sitting out there. They want JR.
Right.
They're just waiting for the Cavs to cut him so they can pick him up rather than have to do a deal and give up a second-round pick or whatever it might be. So this team now has changed direction, and they are in the rebuild mode. Kevin is a huge piece. His contract is not that bad. 3 more years. And if you trade for him, you've got him for 3 more years after this year. So it's not like you get him, you're worried he's going to walk away on you like a Kawhi Leonard situation. So I think something else will happen before trade deadline. If it's Kevin, you know what, 5-time All-Star, he deserves to play with a good team.
And certainly the Cleveland Cavaliers looking to stock up on draft picks. It'll be interesting to see if Love is moved for one of those. Good game coming on tonight. The Nuggets and the Blazers. That is correct. Jokic getting his dance on. We're going to check in on the Joker next. You're watching Game Time Live.
Get it, big fella. Get it. Dab on him, dab on him, dab on him, dab on him.